It feels good to be on the stump. Hey, I am so grateful to Michelle and Bob for opening up their beautiful home to us to be here today, and I'm very grateful to all of you for being here. I thank you. As many of you know, I never dreamed that I would ever do this, but having done it now once, I feel like I know what I'm doing. Certainly a lot better than I did. Before I just sort of give my remarks, I wanted to make a comment on a piece that came out today, apparently.
I got that.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, and you know, it says that Keith Thymian just didn't pay his taxes. Well, the allegation, of course, came from Connolly. There was a $16,000 lien placed against my company in 2002 by the IRS. But let me explain what happened. I have never, ever not paid my taxes or my company. What happened is we do 150,000 inspections a year, and we farm most of those out to subcontractors. The vast majority, probably 130,000 or 120,000, go to subcontractors that are not employees, so we don't take taxes out. We pay them in full. They're supposed to pay the government. In 2001 and 2002, some of them didn't pay the government. So the government came to us and said, those guys didn't pay their taxes. And we're like, well, they're subcontractors, so you know, what do you want us to do about it? And they said, well, we want you to pay, get them to pay their taxes. We said, wrong. Okay, you are not the IRS here to abuse or harass a small company like ours. That's your job. And we politely disagreed, and they leveled a lien on us to make these subcontractors pay their taxes. We in the meantime couldn't even get a hold of these people. They had skipped town. Wow. So we paid the IRS the $16,000. So we paid the taxes twice, once when we paid the subcontractors and once when we paid the IRS. This is a classic example of an outright lie. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. And it's one thing I've learned is that this is what you expect in politics. You know, I run a company and for a lot of years did, and I would actually fess up to stuff that we weren't even totally guilty of, because I wanted my clients to know they could take me to the bank. You know, I'm the alter ego of my company. Look at Keith Thymian as U.S. Inspect. And I have clients that I've had for 23 and 22 years. We're only a 24-year-old company. And I'm privileged to say that, but I say it because they knew they could trust me. In this profession, in politics, it's the most remarkable thing. It's one of the observations I've made, and let me comment in this way. I never heard this expression until I ran 2 years ago. Some of you know what I'm going to say. Politics is Hollywood for the ugly. Right? For those of you that haven't heard that either, it's true. The people that never made it in industry or technology or entertainment or athletics that have to have their name in lights, where do you suppose they go? The only place they can go is politics. This is where they go. And they will tell you anything to get elected. They will say anything. And the reason for that is they want you to like them. If you notice, they want to know where you are an issue before they're going to tell you where they are. But they want you to like them, and the only way you're going to like them is if they agree with you, or you agree with them, or who you think them to be. And we find ourselves as a nation in a very, very dire situation. I'll be very frank, as a bean counter by training. This is not good where we are. The great news is we can get out of the whole thing. We all got free will. What made this country great was sacrifice. We can all sacrifice. The question is, a lot of people don't want to sacrifice, or may think that you're sacrificing less than they are. You know where all that goes. But the point is, it all begins with our elected leaders. And as I said, I never thought, let me see if there's anything else in here that I've probably said. Oh yeah, there's more. It says that there have been 40 lawsuits against my company.
Oh, please.
Now that may be true, because we do 150,000 inspections a year. We're a home inspection company. So we come and look at the house for 2 or 3 hours, you know, while the buyers are looking at it with us, you know, and we're explaining stuff. And the sellers, meantime, we've had a seller do this. They actually repaired termite damage in a wall with Bondo. That's what you repair cars with. So you couldn't tell this thing has been repaired. It was just a freshly coated, you know, room. And we were deceived, and that happens routinely. So to only be sued 40 times in 24 years of business, doing over 100,000 inspections a year, I feel darn good about. But again, it's public perception. And then the last thing is, well, complaints by the Better Business Bureau. I'll look into that, but my point is, it's a manipulation But there's a far greater issue here that we're all aware of, and it's what's happening to our country. And I say to audiences, many of you probably heard me say this, you know, I'm just like you. I'm no different. And I'm asking to serve you in Congress with 1,000 hopes, because I have the same hopes you do, but I'm running for a single reason. And that is this: the life of freedom and opportunity and unlimited possibility that has always been the birthright of every American and the hope of every immigrant to America. We are talking about the American dream here, people. The American dream itself is at risk and may be passing before our very eyes. This nation is being led into a valley of debt and deficit spending and overgrown government so big and so wide and so deep that our own children face a future less certain than any generation in the history of this country. Our parents and our grandparents and those who came before them were given a great gift. They took care of that gift. They worked to better it. They handed it down to us. Today that gift is being turned into a mountain of debt and an ocean of entitlement programs, all headed for bankruptcy. Every one of them. And they all know this. The blood, sweat, tears, and courage and sacrifice of our forefathers is being squandered by people who knew nothing of duty and honor and virtue. And those of us who love this country and look forward to its future on behalf of our kids and our grandkids, you know, have got to ask ourselves a tough question. Will we take a land of freedom and opportunity, the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world, and leave it a place of dependency and decline? None of us has any intention of making that mistake. But if we do not act quickly and courageously and decisively, we will not avoid it. The stakes are the highest they've ever been in our lifetimes. And we have the opportunity to set things straight. But the time to set things straight dwindles as the clock ticks. The inflection point arrives that much closer every day. And I'm not running, let me say it this way. Jerry Connolly is part of the problem and I'm part of the solution, and that's why I'm running for this. All right.